evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please rise. Join the board in the pledge. Hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing and join the board in a moment of silence as we honor our veterans, our first responders, our active military, especially this week of Veterans Day. And please keep in your thoughts and prayers the family of Manuel Valente, who passed away earlier this week. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have a busy evening here. We have a total of 4 hearings, 2 new hearings, and 2 that are continuations of previous hearings. Before we do get started, I just want to mention, I just mentioned Manuel Valente, who is a longtime resident of the village of Mineola, who passed away, a dear friend, a veteran as well. Interestingly moved to this country at the age of 18 and was immediately drafted into the U.S. Army during the Vietnam War and served our country. And he was also a member of the Lions Club, a member of many of our local Portuguese organizations, and just a true gentleman, and I know that we will miss him for sure. So we wish his family that his memory may be a blessing, because it certainly is for me. Mr. Rivera.
Application of Diwakar Ranjan for a special use permit pursuant to Chapter 550 of the Code of the Incorporated Village of Mineola, entitled Zoning, Section 550-15.2, entitled Jericho Turnpike Overlay District, to construct a 2-story rear addition to provide additional office space on the first floor and 1 additional apartment on the second floor upon the property known as 202 Jericho Turnpike, Mineola, New York, known and designated on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map as Section 9, Block 322, Lot 78.
Thank you. Mr. O'Keefe, affidavit of mailings. Received. Thank you. Mr. Gibbons.
Yes, Nassau County Planning Commission has recommended local determination, and I would ask for a resolution under CEQA declaring this an unlisted action.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Salaski, seconded by trustee Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So, as with every hearing, we will ask the applicant to make a presentation, and then the board will ask any questions, and at which time we'll then open it up to public comment. And then if there are any questions still to be answered, we'll ask the applicant to come back up. Do we have someone here representing the applicant? Please come on up. And as you come up, whether you are the applicant or representing the applicant, please give us your name, your address, and your relationship to the application.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Michael Stambolis. I am the architect for Mr. Ranjan. My address is 107 Brixton Road South, West Hempstead, 11552. Okay. So yeah, this application is to construct a 2-story addition off the back of the building. The first floor is to expand their office. They have an expanding construction business, so they need more office space. The basement will serve as additional storage space, and on the second floor will be 1 additional apartment, 1-bedroom apartment.
And just tell us that, of course, this is under the Jericho Overlay District?
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
Can you tell us what is the easement in the back currently, and what will it be after this addition?
So this is right against the municipal lot on Banbury and Mineola Boulevard. So currently there is about 43 feet to the property line, and after the addition, we're going right up to the line, to the property line.
Okay, so for perspective, this is 1 unit just east of the Noches de Colombia
Correct.
restaurant, the rear of which is one of our municipal lots. So it actually would bring it in line with some of the buildings to the east of it and to the west of it. It would not be visible from the street. It's not going any higher. It's just an addition to the rear of the building to expand the existing business or a business on the first floor and add one additional apartment. How many apartments are there currently?
Currently, there's 2 apartments.
2, so this would make it 3.
This will make it 3, yeah. And the building extends a bit past the building on the east side of 202.
Right. But this would not be abutting any residence?
No.
Right. Okay. Deputy Mayor, any questions?
Hi.
Hi,
I just have one question. The new apartment, how are they accessing that? Is it from the
So-
back or is it going to connect to what's currently there?
That's gonna have a separate access from the back.
Okay.
So completely separate from the existing 2 apartments.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Trustee Casal?
Thank you. So, sir, is this building totally vacant at this point?
No, there's 2 apartments currently, and the first
So
floor
what's
has
going
a
to happen with those two?
Those 2 apartments are gonna remain as is.
Say it again?
Those 2 apartments are gonna remain.
Okay.
So the construction's gonna happen
Construct-
while nobody's
It's
gonna vacate?
completely, yes, yeah. We're
Okay.
not affecting the current apartments at all.
I'm fine.
Trustee Clark?
No, nothing at this time.
Trustee Salaski?
You're expanding the business on the first floor.
Correct.
Additional employees coming in, or you just need more room, more space?
Both. Yeah,
Okay.
The owner needs both, yeah. Additional employees and more space.
Any idea on the number of employees that would be coming on
I-
a daily basis?
I don't have that
Okay.
information, sorry.
It's currently like a general contractor?
Correct, yeah.
And they are looking to keep the same business?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Obviously, if they change business and it required a special use, they would have to come
Right.
back before
Right.
us.
And the owner of the building is the contractor.
He's the, okay,
Yes.
so the owner of the building. Any improvements to the facade of the building or not planned at this time?
In the rear, yes, the addition will be, we're proposing brick to match the adjacent buildings.
Okay, but no improvements to the front of the
The
building?
front, no.
I mean,
No.
the front, that's the one that says Edelson on it, right?
I
It think it
believe
has
so,
like
and it's a
name
brick
on it.
facade,
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Okay, anybody else on the board with any questions?
No.
No? Okay, if you don't mind, have a
Sure,
seat.
Thank you.
Anyone in the second row? And come on up.
Hi, Linda Fagreef, 318 Mineola Boulevard, Mineola, New York. My concern is the parking. I feel our area is saturated. When I moved there from another house in Mineola about 30 years ago, there were no cars. And in the 30 years, I've just seen more and more cars. I realize different businesses are more viable due to the change of times and stuff. Right now, the rear, their cars are parked there. So those cars are going to have to look for spots, plus the additional employees and the additional person in the other apartment. So I believe, I don't know if they're against the parking, the zoning there as far as parking and what's needed. That I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's a prior non-conforming use, as you know, every business on
Right.
the Turnpike is.
There were no zoning
parking
laws
deficient.
when they were built.
Right, exactly. So they're all parking deficient.
But I'm talking the extension.
So the extension, what would happen is the applicant would pay into our parking developers fund the amount that they're deficient. It's $2,000 per spot. Essentially, we would determine how many spots the addition would be, and then they would pay into that for our parking development fund. So it would be minimal. In this case, I would imagine that we're talking about an additional 2 or 3 spots at the most, that they would be deficient, if
Okay.
that.
As I said, I realize it's not a gigantic building,
Right.
but the place is so saturated. And I'd hate for it to become a sort of precedent, because as you said, most of these 100-year-old buildings, there were no zoning laws at the time. So-
I will say this, and I'm speaking for myself, if this building were further east and it butted the homes on Banbury, I certainly would have more reason to not look on it favorably. The fact that it is kind of growing back into the parking lot, really to be even with the buildings to the east and to the west, and I believe this building used to be Jay's, the clothing store, or the clothing stores, or maybe it was one over. I remember going there with my mother and shopping You remember that, Paul? Jay's,
Do
right?
remember that, yes.
He was a great, great gentleman.
He was. He
And a
absolutely
business
was.
like that had people coming in all day, every day, weekends, moving. A business like this, the contractor, he's not running, it's not a yard, you know, it's an office. So he's gonna come in the morning, he's gonna stay there all day, and he's gonna go home at night. It's not a storefront, it's not a restaurant, it's not a nail salon, it's not, you know, something that is gonna, it's not a doctor's office where people are gonna just keep coming back. And I think, to your point, and as you know, I live on the same street you do, I think those doctor's offices across the street, they generate a lot of traffic and a lot of cars because a lot of people are going to the cardiologist or they're going to the dentist now and they're coming and going. And as far as the one tenant upstairs, the addition of the one tenant, that person presumably is gonna work somewhere. So they're gonna leave in the morning, they're gonna go to work, they're gonna come back in the evening when that lot is not as crowded. I think your concern is more the people who come from somewhere else and park in front of your house or park in front of my house because they work in Mineola, they don't live in Mineola. Here, we're gonna have somebody who lives in Mineola who presumably is gonna work somewhere else, and so they're gonna go somewhere, whether it's the train, the bus, or a car. So they're not gonna be parked in front of your house, they're gonna park probably on Jericho or on Banbury overnight till they get up the next day and have to go to work. So, and as you said, it's one apartment, right? It's an extension of a few hundred square feet in the back to an existing business. He owns the building, right? So he's gonna obviously wanna keep it up. It's not gonna generate a whole lot of garbage because it's not a restaurant use. It's not, you know, it's a pretty low impact use as far as uses on Jericho Turnpike go. It's not a heavy traffic generator. It's not a heavy garbage generator. And again, we're talking about adding one unit. So, but I'll let Mr. Trombolis address that.
Yes, basically, you know, I agree, it's not anything, it's not, again, a residence. It fits in and everything else. It's just the cars, because even at night, there could be a problem. We have 2 halls by us, and if they have something, you know, so it's not like all the cars disappear at night all the time. It's just that it's saturated, and the idea of them, they have parking now, that they're not going to have parking, and that they're adding to the building. As I said, I just feel the area is saturated. I know we have a lot of parking regulations, but it's still saturated on that.
Okay.
And that's the only thing. Otherwise, you know, there's no problem.
Thank you, Ms. Fairview.
Thank you.
Anybody in the second row?
Scott Fairgrave, I'm speaking as a private citizen now, I'm making that very clear, because I got a notice in the mail like my wife, and I'm down here. These are pictures I took today, showing the back of the building. It shows 2 cars parked there right now, and there's cars parked there all the time. So where are they gonna go and park during the day? They're gonna go into the residential area. Let me hand these, can we mark this into the record, please? And the board can take a look at it?
So I think the reason why they're parking there is because they can, right? Because now they're on their property. So it's essentially like they have a
Yeah,
driveway, right?
right.
They're parking there. When that building expands, as Mrs. Sambola said, they'll go right up to the property line, so they'll be in our lot. My guess is that they will then begin to park in the lot and pay the meter like everybody else. Now, why would I pay the
The whole
meter?
day, they're gonna pay it each and every day?
the-
Well, you're presupposing that. That's
Well,
just-
we have really good parking enforcement, and we have a judge who's really good at, you know, making sure that
Yeah.
people, you know, follow the rules. So I think that they park here now because they can, as I would, for free, because it's their property.
Right.
But once they build, they will no longer have that, that luxury of parking on their own property for free. I would imagine they're not gonna park in front of your house when they can literally 10 feet.
Well, they can't park in front of my house because there's a 90-minute restriction.
Right.
We have, let's just run through it. Banbury, you have parking on the south side.
Yep.
Restricted, I think, for 1 hour during
Yep.
the day.
Yep.
On the north side, you can't park there. From Banbury up to Linden, 90 minutes, and also down, up to about Elizabeth's house, you know,
Yep, yep.
across the street from me, it's 90 minutes.
Yep.
After that, you have unlimited parking during the day. But the problem is, it's saturated each and every day, and it's worse and worse by the year. Here's some pictures showing the saturation, which I took at midday.
Mayor, do we know how many spots are in that lot?
I don't know how many spots. I actually have a list of all the parking lots in my office with all the number of spots. Yeah.
That shows, and that's each and every day that's there. As my wife pointed out, it's gotten more and more saturated. And I do not, Mayor, I do not agree with you about the number of cars. So let's just go through that. So number one, you have an apartment. That brings possibly 2 additional cars into the area. And when they're gonna work, people work at day, people work at night too. So that's 2 additional cars. And then we hear employees are coming in. Well, another 3 to 5, that's another 7 or 8 cars plus those 2. So we could be up to 10 cars, at least, you know. So I think, I'm talking only about this property. It's an oversaturation use of this property, this is a very prime residential area in Mineola. And for us to have more cars dumped into our area, I think is uncalled for. And I do not agree if this board approves this decision. Again, it's my personal opinion. You may disagree with me, and I'm only talking about this, but I feel very strongly about this, and I'm speaking as an individual.
Okay.
So I'm being very clear about that.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you
very
very
Thank
much.
Anybody in the 3rd row? 4th row? 5th row? 6th row? 7th and last row? Come on up.
My name is Barbara Murphy. I live at 310 Mineola Boulevard. Over the 40-plus years that I've lived at this residence, I have seen the volume of cars parked up and down Mineola Boulevard explode. We had 2 children. I have 2 grandchildren, and I had even 2 puppies. Puppies are impetuous, children are impetuous. I feared for safety at times for my kids. I have had my driveway blocked in, no way to find anybody to ask them to remove their vehicle so I could get in or out of my own residence. I am aware of people that have owned businesses on Jericho Turnpike that have had people from other towns come to their establishment only to receive parking tickets. So it became cost prohibitive for them to bother to do business in Mineola. We are supposed to be a residential area. We have doctors, we have lawyers, we have businesses. I can't go to North Shore Farms beyond 3:30 in the afternoon because the traffic is so heavy. I can't get there and back again in a timely manner. So where is the quality of life for the people? My neighbors are good neighbors. I walk every single block of Mineola Boulevard. I see the love that they put into their homes, the attention that they take, the money they spend for landscapers, for extensions on their homes. They're beautiful, and they care. And I think, personally, we've been sold a little short with all of the building that has gone on so far. I'm not happy with what I have to currently live with, and I think it's unfair of people who pay taxes to have to be now expected to yet swallow a little bit more. It's just a little bit more, it's just a little bit more, until our quality of life has gone down. When I eat in the summer months in my backyard, I hear buses, I hear wheels of cars screeching. I can't even have a peaceful meal at times in my own yard. So I am imploring you, please, give this very serious consideration. I am totally against more building. I didn't sign up to live in Queens, and I am beginning to feel like I live in Flushing almost. It's not what the residents want, and it's not fair.
I appreciate that, and as you know, I live on the same street that you live on.
Yes,
and
I do.
And I also have 3 children, and I have a puppy as well. So I don't think you're talking about this one unit, right? The one apartment that this applicant is asking. But I will say, and I think you do know, that the house just slightly north of you, across the street, had an open house this weekend.
I do know
Too,
that.
right? $1.7 million that they're asking. So I think that people are still looking to live in Mineola and to do what you did 40-plus years ago, and what I did back in 1977, moving here. So I think that there is, in my opinion, there is still a lot that's attractive about the village, that people still want to buy a house for $1.7 million or buy a fixer-upper for $800,000 or $900,000. And relative to that same house in other neighborhoods, the taxes are much more competitive than they would be elsewhere. But that's my opinion, but I certainly take to heart your opinion. I know that when I moved onto Mineola Boulevard, I knew that I was getting sirens, cop cars, buses. That's kind of what I signed up for. It wasn't, the buses didn't start going up and down Mineola Boulevard between Jericho and Willis, or between the train station and Hillside, rather, because of any of these buildings. Those routes were there. They were always there. The 3rd Precinct has always been there, and headquarters has always been on Franklin Avenue, so we have that. The hospital has been there since 1896, so the ambulances that come down our street have been coming down there. So those, I agree with you. Your house is beautiful. I take a lot of care in my house as well. But I kind of knew when I moved on to Mineola Boulevard that my kids were not going to be playing stickball in the street, because they can't, right? We know that. We know that there are buses. We know that there are ambulances. We know that there are police cars that all hours of the night. And that's been my reality for the almost 20 years that I've lived there, and I've accepted it. I sit in my backyard. I have planes flying overhead, but I also am 20 minutes away from an airport. There's some convenience to that. So the ambulances, but I'm also 2 minutes away from a major hospital. There's some convenience there. The buses, I don't use public transportation as much as other people do, but I'm sure that for a lot of our residents, that's a huge convenience. But to your point, I understand. I don't think it's about this project per se, adding one apartment that's going to, and I see this, and I think this has more to do with the use of the building across the street on the corner, the NYU Langone Medical Building, than it does really with any residential. I have zero, to Judge Fairgriev's point. In front of my house, there are no restrictions, so anybody can park there, and they do, all the time. Do I like it? It is what it is, it's a public street. They're allowed to park there. Thank God I have a driveway that's enough for the cars that I have. But if there's something that we can do to look at the restrictions, then we'll do that. We'll sit down with the neighbors. We've done it on Elderberry. We've done it on Linden. We've done it on Ferncroft. The residents come up, they sign a petition, they say we want alternate side, or we want no parking for an hour, 90 minutes, whatever it is. We're always willing to do what we can to help the residents. So if that is something that we can do, we can get together and we can certainly come up with a solution. We can perhaps try to visit some of those businesses that may encourage their patrons to park in the residential neighborhood, and maybe through enforcement kind of re-educate them to not do that. Because I do see the people in the scrubs walking out of the Jericho Turnpike building and getting into cars in front of your house, in front of other homes on Jericho Turnpike. So, but I don't think that this project, adding one apartment, and respectfully to Judge Fairgriev's point, I don't think there's any scenario where 10 cars are gonna be added because of one apartment and 200 square feet of office space where another employee, and Mr. Stambolis even mentioned, he doesn't know if there will be any more employees. he's guessing, right? It's not gonna be 10 more employees, it's not gonna be 3 more employees. So I respectfully disagree that it's gonna be 10 more cars, but will it be more cars? Perhaps, it will be, I don't know,
Not what I want to hear, but thank you.
thank
You
you.
know, if I may, I actually like what the mayor just said. I think as a board, we live here too, and we want to preserve the residential areas within our village, and there's a lot of them. So I think that it's a good solution possibly to just look at the parking there, because you are abutting a commercial area. So maybe we just look at the restrictions there, and we see if there's something we could do better to better serve our residents while still maintaining our business allure, if you will. So I would be open to looking at it as a board, just to see what we could possibly do restriction-wise. But I hear you, I hear what you're saying. And I do agree that this particular instance is not gonna add enough. It's not adding anything that's really material, but I see your frustration, and I see how it could build.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the last row? Mrs. Stambolis, if you could come right back up. Okay, so there are some concerns about parking. Can you
Yes.
tell us a little bit about how much square footage you're adding? And the apartment's gonna be a one-bedroom, a two-bedroom?
Yeah,
So tell us a little bit about
the-
how you see
Right.
this issue.
So the office space is about 700 square feet additional, same as the apartment. Apartment's a one-bedroom. And like you mentioned, this business is not the type that generates walk-in traffic. It's really just the employees that are there, so, you know, you're not gonna have a lot of people coming and parking, coming and going, so.
And I would also offer this as a suggestion. We sell special use permits for businesses, and we have special use spots dedicated on the south side of Jericho, across the street from your building. We would encourage the business owner to buy some of those, because then he would have essentially guaranteed parking. Not that it's reserved just for that person, it's first come, first served, but we do limit the number of permits that we issue, okay? And then he could park on the south side of Jericho, rather than parking behind the Noches de Colombia. I would also offer that the restaurant becomes really busier in the evening, dinner times, when a general contractor is probably not
Right.
there, right? He's
Coming in early
closed
in
up
the
shop,
morning.
he's home.
Right.
And now is when you get the restaurant people coming in. So, I have a question, and I don't know if because you've been here 3 times now, 4
Yes.
times
Yes.
over the overlay district. You know the question I'm gonna ask you? Yeah, so this person is gonna take this, this project,
Right,
and he's gonna keep it, right? It's gonna be his.
yes,
Right? This is the guy that owns the business.
right,
He's not gonna sell it,
right. Yeah,
correct?
he owns the business, yes.
Right, so he's staying.
Yes.
He's not getting the approval,
No,
and then he's gonna,
no. There's no
Okay.
intention to,
okay, because we have a
Sell or-
6-month,
yeah.
we have a 6-month process from approval.
Mhm.
Once you pass the 6 months,
Yeah.
the approval essentially, without an extension, becomes null and void.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, there's no intention, as far as I know, for the owner to sell. They're looking to expand the business, so,
Okay, right, for this project and any other projects?
correct, yes.
Okay, okay,
Understood.
understood, okay. Anybody else from the board?
No, thank you.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion, anybody from the public? I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Clark, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by deputy mayor Sartori. Mr. Rivera, please poll the board.
Trustee Clark. Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sartori.
Yes.
Trustee Casada.
Yes.
Trustee Salaski.
Yes.
Mayor Carrera.
Yes. Okay, obviously, you know to work with Mr. O'Keefe
Yes.
on all permits, and in the decision, Mr. Gibbons, because this is in the overlay district, this triggers the parking fund?
I will check on that. I don't remember if it's in the Jericho Turnpike Overlay District.
Okay. But if it does, then you'll be responsible for that. It's not gonna be
Right.
a tremendous number, but
Sure.
if that's the case, then we'll double check on the Jericho Turnpike Overlay District, okay? All right,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the next item?
Application of Brian Baldacita for a special use permit pursuant to Chapter 550 of the Code of the Incorporated Village of Mineola, entitled zoning, Section 550-14B1, entitled B3 Districts, to establish a restaurant upon the property known as 124 Old Country Road, Mineola, New York, known and designated on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map as Section 9, Block 350, Lot 124.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera. Mr. O'Keefe, affidavits of mailing? Thank you. Mr. Gibbons?
The Nassau County Planning Commission has recommended local determination, and I'd ask for a motion under CEQA declaring this a Type 2 action.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Salaski. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Not going to go through it again. Do we have someone here from the applicant that would like to present? Come on up. Again, as you make your way up, just please identify yourself and your relationship to the applicant and your address, if you could. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good
My
evening.
name is Brian Baldaceta. I am the owner and president of Don Pollo Incorporated.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about what you're looking to do. And again, for reference, this is in the small strip mall on the corner of Willis Avenue and Old Country Road. There's a Dunkin' Donuts, there's a Chinese restaurant, and there is an empty space that used to be a pizzeria and a number of different things. So it's in that space. We're glad that someone's looking to go in there. So tell us a little bit about the business, what you're looking to do, any improvements, et cetera.
So, Don Pollo is a family-operated Peruvian restaurant chain that has proudly been serving New Yorkers for almost 20 years now. We see Mineola as a vibrant, growing, and diverse area that values community and quality dining. Our goal is to bring Peruvian cuisine and culture to Mineola while adding to the town's culinary diversity and family-friendly dining options. We plan to be open from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily, serving home-style meals, such as lomo saltado, ceviche, arroz chaufa, and empanadas. And our house specialty, which is our Peruvian rotisserie chicken, which will be made freshly throughout the day. We plan to employ approximately 5 to 7 team members, all of which hopefully will be from the Mineola area. We've reviewed the parking situation carefully and believe our operations will have minimal impact on local traffic. Many customers will use takeout or delivery services, which helps reduce parking congestion. In regards to noise, signage, and neighborhood consideration, we take pride in being respectful neighbors. Our restaurant will not produce loud noise or disturbances. All activities will occur within business hours, and there will be no outdoor music or late-night operations. We're also working with local designers and sign professionals to ensure our exterior signage, colors, and lighting are tasteful, compliant with village regulations, and aligned with Mineola's character and charm. In terms of cleanliness, we fully understand the responsibility that comes with operating in this village, and we're committed to strict compliance with all Village of Mineola sanitation, workplace, and safety policies. As a family-owned business, we believe in giving back to the community that supports us. Don Pollo Mineola will proudly offer discounts to local government employees, teachers, first responders, public safety personnel, healthcare workers, transit workers, members of our military, and students. We are also committed to sustainability and responsible operations. We plan to recycle cooking oil, minimize food waste, and use eco-friendly packaging wherever possible. Thank you.
Outstanding, very nice. Welcome to Mineola, and thank you for choosing Mineola, and you should be giving lessons on these presentations to some other applicants. Very, very good, very thorough. So you said it's a family-owned operation, so this will not be a franchise. It stays in your family, or this is a franchise that somebody else, or will you be the one running it?
So I will be the one running this restaurant alongside my mentor, which is my mother. But she has previously opened up other Don Pollo locations in the boroughs only.
How many?
There are 6.
6, and this will be number 7?
Yes.
Excellent, very nice. Garbage, you'll have a private carter. Is there space in the back or on the side for a dumpster? I believe there is, correct?
Yes, there's a gated area.
Yep, that's right.
dedicated.
You do have a municipal lot right behind you,
Yes. we
and
do.
you have additional parking, so I don't think parking is going to be an issue. There are no single-family residential uses within, a half mile of you, so I don't think that that's going to be a concern. You have an apartment building, the Allure, just to your west.
Yes.
You have a soon-to-be, not that soon, but
Yes.
soon-to-be apartment to your east. So I hope that you make it. I love Peruvian food. I think it'd be the second Peruvian restaurant in Mineola.
Yes, I
Okay.
believe there's one on Jericho.
Jericho
Correct.
Turnpike.
Yes.
They're very good.
They are.
So, we do have a very famous rotisserie chicken place already too. So you're going to be competing with Bairrada over here, but on the opposite ends of the village. So there's enough room for everybody.
We love that place.
Yes.
My mother and I.
Yes. We all love that
We
place.
actually
sit,
live-
as we sit here and smell it, a lot of times. So.
We live on Meadow Suite.
Oh,
currently.
okay, very nice. So you're my neighbor.
Yes, we just moved
okay.
to the area about
Well-
8 months ago. And, if we were going to expand anywhere outside of the boroughs, we thought there would be no better place than our hometown.
Excellent. Love that. Well, so welcome to Mineola times 2.
Yeah.
Well, that's Wilson Park, Meadow Suites. All right, we'll forgive you. It's all right. Next time by one road south. Deputy Mayor.
Hi. Again, thank you for that great presentation. I
you.
appreciate that. So my only thing would be signage. I know you spoke about some tasteful signage. Please make sure you work with our building department so you meet all of our codes on the signage of it all.
Yes.
I live on that side of the village, so I'm looking forward to having some chicken over there. My only thing would be to, as the mayor mentioned, there is a municipal lot there, 5 to 7 employees. The parking lot of that particular strip mall is small, so I would recommend that they go to the municipal lot, just so you have your customers have parking, or else you won't have customers. And I also would recommend to link up with our Chamber of Commerce when you are all set to open, and they'll do a ribbon cutting and get some marketing out there for you, and welcome you to the village.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're working currently with Mineola Signs,
Oh,
and most of our employees historically have not used their own vehicles. They've done public transportation.
Oh,
So
even
we have the
better.
bus stop right in front,
Yes,
and
Jim.
Ballet Double R is right
And
there
the train
too.
is right there, yes.
So we couldn't have asked for a better spot.
excellent.
Yeah.
It's great location.
It is.
Trustee Casado.
Thank you. So if this is approved, are you planning just to move right in, or you got to do any construction inside, or what's your plans?
There will be we're just planning on moving right in, just the sign and the installation of the fire suppression system. The hood would be the only type of construction that would be done on the place.
Okay, thank you, that's it.
Trustee Clark.
How many tables do you have in the restaurant? Do you expect
Give
people
or
to-
take.
We would say we would have about 7 tables,
Okay.
each
And-
seating about 4.
How long do people stay in there for dinner? They stay for a while, short, are they picking up and leaving? What's? I'm trying to get an idea of the
Yes.
traffic in that parking
Yes,
lot.
yes.
And how many spaces that are there? Are there enough to accommodate you? Will people be parking up the street and walking around because,
So with our other locations, even though this is actually going to be our smallest location yet, the majority of our business would be takeout and deliveries. but in terms of parking, we have the municipal parking in the back. We look forward to making signage that would, you know, tell people that, because a lot of people don't seem to know that there's municipal parking right across, and so they try and pack in as much into that parking lot. So, you know, we'll make it a responsibility of ours to make sure people are informed and don't cause too much traffic on Old Country Road.
May I ask one question? Could I ask one question? Deliveries for supplies, that could get tricky in that parking lot, so I'm sure it'll be written into the decision about times you could do it, how you could do it, because there has been issues with other stores in that parking lot where people are parking the trucks on Old Country Road and blocking traffic, so that cannot happen. It has to be parked in the parking lot or some other way so it doesn't avoid traffic, and during times when it's not peak hours. So I'm sure that we'll work that out with you as a village, but that you have to be sensitive to that.
And I think the difference, we're
You
allowed
know
to say
that's
it's
what we have.
Dunkin' Donuts. They would have an 18-wheeler
Right.
parked on one whole lane of traffic at like 7 in the morning. It was a nightmare. We had to get the police down there, and eventually, but I would imagine that your deliveries are probably like box truck kind of deliveries, not 18-wheelers?
Yes,
Or
sir.
vans?
Yes, sir, and I absolutely understand that concern, but luckily for us, this is not our first rodeo. Since our restaurants are primarily in the boroughs where space is limited, there's tons of traffic, and there's just no
no
room for,
loading
no room
zones.
for error in terms of having an 18-wheeler or even a Sprinter van just parked up and blocking traffic of
Right.
any sort. So we know how to get around that pretty well and not cause traffic.
Okay, so you have to stay off Old Country Road.
Yes.
Yes.
On your property.
Of course.
Willis is not much better either, so, you know, just make sure that, and again, we'll write that into the decision, but, you know, I work at Mineola High School, and a lot of my colleagues would drive down Old Country Road towards Mineola High School, and
Yes.
every morning for about 2 years, I would get hammered with, what are you doing, Mayor, about that, 18-wheeler? They've since fixed it, you know. When you call the police and you threaten to revoke their special use permit, usually it gets people to listen.
Yeah,
So-
it was a nightmare. I was trying to get to a train and it was a
Right.
mess.
But you're not gonna do that?
No,
No, if we
Are there
can handle,
restrictions to exit the parking lot?
yes.
Yes, I think you have to exit.
You have to exit
and
out Willis Avenue and you have to make a right-hand turn.
And same thing on Old Country Road, you have to make a right-hand turn. Yeah.
yes.
Doesn't mean that people always do
Yeah,
that,
they
but,
don't.
If we can
Yes.
handle Jamaica Avenue and
yeah,
Austin Street and Forest Hills, I believe this won't be an issue.
yeah,
Perfect, your trains are ready.
Yes.
excellent. Trustee Salaski.
I have-
Anything else, Trustee
No,
Clark?
it's okay.
No?
Okay, I have no questions. Your presentation was great, and 2 questions I had, you've already answered from the trustees had asked you, so thank you.
Thank you.
I'll ask you to have a seat, and anybody in the 3rd row, anybody in the 4th row, 5th row, 6th row, anybody in the 7th row? No? Come on up. Okay. So, yes, it is Brian Baldoceda, Baldoceda, Baldoceda. Brian with an I, not a Y,
Yes.
because this is Brian with a Y over here. so. No other questions? Right, okay. Again, work with Mr. O'Keefe in the building department. Obviously, again, this not being your first rodeo out here in Nassau County, the fire marshal for your fire suppression system, especially if you're doing rotisserie, we don't want that to hold you up. And when you do finally get open, give us a call. We'd love to do a ribbon cutting, have the Chamber of Commerce down there, get you some PR, and, we'd love to welcome you to the village. So I would entertain a motion to approve the application.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Casado, second by deputy mayor Sartori. Mr. Rivera, please poll the board.
Trustee Clark,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sartori,
Yes.
Trustee Casado,
Yes.
Trustee Salaski,
Yes.
Mayor Ferrera.
Yes. Congratulations.
Thank
Welcome
you
to Mineola.
so much.
Looking forward to it.
I promise you won't regret this.
I
Thank you for the opportunity.
I have a feeling I won't, all right? Congrats, and we'll be down there to try out the
Yes.
rotisserie chicken.
When do you plan to open?
Hopefully next month.
Wow,
Wow.
excellent. Next month. That's great.
We'll be down
Yes.
there.
All right, let's
Thank you
go.
so much.
Let's go. No turkey for Thanksgiving. Let's have some chicken. Thank you. Good luck to you. that Mom? Yes, Mom. Congratulations, Mom. Thank you. Welcome to the neighborhood. Thank you. Okay, next.
Continuation from October 15th, 2025, public hearing, the application of Mineola 199 LLC for a special use permit pursuant to Chapter 550 of the Code of the Incorporated Village of Mineola, entitled zoning, Section 550-15.2, entitled Jericho Turnpike Overlay District, to construct a 4-story, 30-unit apartment building with on-grade parking upon the property known as 199 Jericho Turnpike, Mineola, New York, known and designated on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map as Section 9, Block 405, Lot 129.
Thank you. This is a continuation of a hearing, so we already asked about the affidavit of mailing, and Mr. Gibbons, right? No, you don't have anything to add, right, Mr. Gibbons, at this point?
No, at the end of the hearing, I will.
Right, I got you. So I would ask the applicant to please come up. You do not have to rehash the entire application, just give us the highlights of any changes that were made from the last hearing, if you don't mind. Again, while Mr. Mann makes his way up here, this is the building, the Bank of America building on the corner of Jericho Turnpike and Mineola Boulevard on the southeast corner. And I'll turn it over to you.
Good evening, Adam Mann, representative from Mineola 199 LLC, 2 Jericho Plaza, Jericho, New York, 11753. Good evening, Mayor, members of the board.
Good evening.
Good to be back. So to try and briefly rehash, we listened to the concerns from the board, and we went back, not to the drawing board, but we went back and we decided to eliminate 1 one-bedroom, 1 two-bedroom, and that will be programmed as amenity space. Right now, we're showing it as a gym and a business center. That might tweak slightly, but it's about 1,600 square feet of amenities, which, given the size of the building, the number of units, is definitely a healthy figure. And that's on the east side of the 2nd floor. So those 2 units, 1 one-bed, 1 two-bed, now is being converted to amenity spaces. That drops the unit count to 28 units. We continue to propose 36 parking stalls. So at a 1.25 ratio at 28 units, that's 35 stalls. So we have 1 surplus above the 1.25 per unit. We also, I know there was a request for what will the south and east facades of the building look like, since we only presented a rendering of the Jericho Turnpike and Mineola Boulevard frontages. So we have that here. It's a continuation of the aesthetics that we showed on the other 2 facades. We also, it's hard to tell, but we also closed up. We had proposed a driveway out only on Jericho Turnpike. That has since been removed and the facade closed up. And those are the proposed changes that we made following last month's hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Mann. I'm glad that you did go back and sharpen your pencils and you were able to do this. I think the closing of the curb cut on Jericho it's good for everybody. It's good for safety, it's good for the aesthetic, and it generally is good for your future tenants. Just remind us again, how big is the retail space going to be about? And it's going to be 1 single retail space.
1 single accessed from the corner of Jericho and Mineola at the current entry point to the former bank on that corner. We have it at about 2,500 square feet. I've seen plans measured it at about 2,500, some slightly larger, but it's in that roughly 2,500 square feet. And yes, the plan would be for 1 tenant.
1 tenant, okay. And obviously that tenant we don't have a tenant yet, that tenant would have to come before us if they required a special use, so anything like a restaurant or anything like that. This is not approving the use of the space, it's approving the space, but not the use of the space. Okay. Deputy Mayor?
Thank you. You definitely listened to everything we said, so I appreciate that. My one question for you is, and we briefly discussed it last time, I just want to confirm, because there's kind of a layer there between the second, it almost looks like a porch area between the second floor and the first floor, and now the amenity space is on the second floor. I wanted to make sure it's not any outdoor space.
So correct, the amenity space is on the back side, so it's not here, it's on the other side. So the amenity space will not have access to the setback area.
Okay, and this setback area will not be apartments. It will be, like, it's not their patios. It will be public.
We haven't made that determination whether that would be outdoor space. If we did, it would be exclusive to that apartment. It would not be a public space.
Okay, so my only concern on that, and I understand it's not decided yet, is I don't like seeing people's stuff on the busy, it's a beautiful building, it's a busy corner, and when it's their space, it could be anything up there. So just something to keep in mind when you're doing it. But
We agree.
otherwise, I appreciate that you heard us and that you've made some of those changes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Casado.
Thank you. I love the look of this building.
Thank
I
you.
think I told you, it reminds me of City Field.
Yeah.
I'm not a Met fan, but it's got, you know, when you pull up to a red light, it's gonna be a great building to look at.
Thank you, we agree.
Thank you for what you've done here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Clark.
Can I see that? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we got it in an email, but it's kind of small, so.
Yeah.
Oh. I can't see, what's on that side? I can't see from here.
This is-
It's the Washington Avenue
Washington
elevation.
elevation, okay. All right, thank you. No questions.
No questions. Trustee Salaski.
I just thank you for hearing us. I appreciate that you went back and made the changes that we asked for.
Welcome, thank you.
Yep, sure.
How long is this, if you were approved tonight, how long would it take for you to start, and how long of a project is it? Because I'm thinking about the busy intersection, and the fact that it's the bank building historic that we have to try to maintain.
So to go from approval to a set of construction drawings and a building permit, I would say 4 to 6 months. The actual construction project, I would say it'll be every bit of a year plus.
So we're looking at about 2 years.
May I just have one quick
Thank you.
question?
Go ahead.
So you had raised a concern about the front, the stone that's there now in the front? Are you,
Yeah, speak into that.
I'm sorry, the front facade.
Hmm?
The mayor had mentioned that. You said it's coming down, what's gonna happen with that front facade?
So the existing facade of the building along Mineola Boulevard and Jericho Turnpike, those portions of the facades are remaining.
Okay,
The rest of the building behind it will be demolished.
so you're gonna build, you're basically gonna build around it, right?
Correct,
Okay,
correct. But
thank you.
those will be maintained.
Thank you.
And obviously, there will be, some questions will be answered once you begin to demolish, whether the stone behind it is not. But as much as you can, you're gonna try to keep that facade. I will just say
Absolutely.
that this is, for those of you who've been following the New York Forward, you know that this project was one of the recipients of a portion of that $4.5 million grant. The private, some of it goes to the public entity, in this case the village, some goes to private applicants. Mr. Mann applied, and he was one of the recipients. And the drawings and the elevations that we used for that were nowhere near what this is.
Agreed.
And so I think that New York Forward, when they see this, they will maybe they'll give you more money. or something.
We would appreciate that.
Yeah, we would appreciate that. Okay, I don't have any questions. Do we have anyone in the fourth row? Anyone in the fifth row? Come on up.
Good evening,
Good
Thomas
evening.
Kaufman, 101 Lincoln Avenue, Mineola. Oh, sorry, Thomas Kaufman, Kaufman, 101 Lincoln Avenue. I'm curious about the parking situation for this building. As a continuation of what your neighbors had to say about Mineola Boulevard, there's going to be an increase in cars. And just the other day, we had a huge storm, all the rain that came down, and I tried to get through the tunnel on Willis in the direction of where you live, and it was backed up forever. And I'm worried that the amount of cars that are coming into this town and the amount of construction that's going on is going to be extremely inconvenient for a lot of people. And is it really the look that everybody wants? I'm not talking about this building, but I'm talking about all the building that's going on. And may I ask, what is the building that's next to the tunnel right now? What's going on there?
That's a residential building that is 92 units, 4 stories.
Wow.
Made to look like 6 separate buildings. So although it's going to be one building, aesthetically from the outside, it's going to look like 5 or 6 separate buildings, different setbacks, different elevations, different types of windows, different brick, different cornices or details. So that was approved, God, probably about 3 years ago, maybe 4.
92 units.
92 units with 140 spots under it. So all the parking will be underneath it.
And the one on Willis down the street from me, that's going to be 30 or 26 units?
No, the one on Willis where
Yeah.
the medical facility is,
Yeah.
they're going to be the next presentation. It's not going to be 30. It's going to be 172.
Whoa! Is that what it started out to be?
No, it started out at 204.
And it doesn't...
How many at 101?
62,
And how many across 100?
100, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so can the area take all that additional cars in the area? I mean,
Well,
really, cars, people, pollution, I mean, have you got enough water? I mean, really, what's going on?
So to answer one of your questions, and we'll talk about
Whoa.
it later, yes, we have enough water because we just conducted an extensive water study of all of these projects by our engineers, and there is enough water for all of this, and the sewer capacity is also there as well.
Still, that's gonna create so much more of the population here, it's really turning into, people talk about, they don't want Mineola to be Queens, okay? And people are worried about that. The woman who, your next door neighbor just talked about that. I walked from Forest Hills to Kew Gardens on Austin, okay? Because I wanted to get a different train. There were more trees on that street than what I see in Mineola right now. I just saw Garfield, because I went to the library. Everything is cut down.
Okay, so there are a couple of things.
There's a whole thing's going on here that's like just,
So, yes,
Really?
Garfield, the trees were cut down because we're repaving the roads, redoing the gutters, redoing the curbs, redoing the aprons at a cost of almost $2 million for that stretch of Garfield and Wellington. That's been discussed here
I
ad
know,
nauseum.
I missed it,
So
I'm
it's
sorry.
fine.
yeah.
Every tree that was cut down will be replaced and then some. Obviously, trees that were cut down when 40, 50, 60 years old, we're replacing them with new trees. I understand that. But I also had a room full of residents from Wellington and from Garfield who were here, who were begging us for a new street because their street was full of potholes, drainage issues, ponding, freezing in the winter, rotting curbs, all of those things, and we agreed. And we said, okay, we're going to put you on the list of the roads that need it most. This is the result of that is, as I've said here before, to make an omelet, you need to break eggs. And to make this omelet of a new road, we have to cut down trees. And I know you are very fond of trees. I'm very fond of trees. As you see this elevation behind you, there are trees that are included. We're going to make sure that there's landscaping. We do that to all of our buildings. As I mentioned to you, part of our New York Forward project on 2nd Street, 1st Street, and Main Street, where there are hardly any trees, there is going to be a lot more trees. But when our engineers tell us that if we don't remove this tree because the roots are lifting up the sidewalk, or they're lifting up the curb, or they're lifting up the gutter, or they're lifting up the apron, then we won't be able to prevent flooding in the future. So we're throwing good money after bad. So if they tell, and they go out, they survey, so not every tree, if a tree doesn't have to come down, it doesn't come down. And it only comes down because they say, because our roads, unlike what you might see on the LIE or the Northern State where they mill and pave, they just come through overnight and they scratch it up and then they lay it right back down. What you're gonna see on Garfield, and it's a mess. It's a mess now, and it's gonna be a mess for a couple of months, is we reconstruct the road. So we literally re-pitch it, we're not
Right,
just.
but does it need to go that far? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
does it really need to be that kind of a job on the road?
If we want the road to last 40, 50 years, yes. We don't have the resources that the county has and the state has where they can repave Northern State every 3 or 4 or 5 years, and that's what they do. They just keep kind of putting the Band-Aid on it, right? So we want to build a road that's going to stand the test of time so that we don't have to come back to it in 10 years and do it again. And again, based on, so there are some roads that we're looking at where a mill and pave may be sufficient. In other words, the curbs are in good shape, the aprons are in good shape, the gutters are in good shape, the structural integrity of the road is in good shape. In those cases, we could just mill and pave. It'd be much cheap, trust me, we'd rather mill and pave. For the price that we're paying to do that 1 mile of road, we could probably do 3 or 4 miles of road if we were just milling and paving. I mean, concrete is expensive to do, because you gotta think, if it's 1 mile of road, it's 2 miles of gutter, it's 2 miles of curb, it's 2 miles of, and then we replace every flag of sidewalk that is either damaged by us or was damaged by one of our trees. So you can see that these numbers, and we have 36 miles of road on a $27 million annual budget with about a $1.5 million budget for roads alone.
How
So-
many trees do we have in Mineola?
So we have thousands of trees. I can tell you that either we just approved or we're about to approve. We just approved, we purchased, close to 200 trees. We'll start planting them. We usually plant them in late November, early December, because they're dormant for the spring. So every tree that is lost or taken down in the village, sooner or later, and probably sooner, is replaced. Always, always. Trust me, we have residents that are the opposite of you, where they want us to cut down their tree and not put it back.
I
And what do? We say, too bad, we're gonna put it back. And residents get very creative with what they do to some trees.
Bring me up to speed here. How many buildings are under construction, or going to be under construction, and how many new residents of the village will there be when everything is completed?
Okay, so from 2012, 2010 until today, the Allure being the first one, the one on Willis
Right.
and Old Country Road, to today, we have about 1,000 units that have been built that are 99.999% occupied, so fully occupied, all those buildings. We have in the pipeline probably about another 1,000 units.
And
But I will say this, and I've said this, and so for those of you who've heard this, when your building was built, the 10 years from 1959 to 1967, 68, there were as many more units built in Mineola during those same 10 years than there were in the last 10 years.
But the size of the cars, okay, at that particular period of time is nothing like the SUV.
The size of what?
The size of the cars that are on the road today are nothing like what they were back
I would say they were
at
bigger
that
back
period.
then.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No, I had a 52 Ford half-ton pickup, and it's like half the size of what's out there.
I had a
today. know.
77 Lincoln Continental. There was a car.
Well, that was a nice car.
But my office is on Old Country Road, and I live on Wilson Boulevard. So I come up either Mineola Boulevard or Willis Avenue, Herrick's Road. I take different routes just to see the flow of traffic. And every night it's 5 o'clock, a little after 5 maybe, and I have no trouble going north through Mineola. The traffic going the other way south is not bad. Mineola Boulevard, they've got the traffic lights timed very good, and there used to be all kinds of jam ups there. The traffic is moving smoother. So I'm waiting for all this standstill traffic on the roads, and it's not really there. Take a
Well,
look, you know.
I know, I get stuck in the traffic on the way on Mineola Boulevard, on First to the bridge there. I get
What time
stuck
of
there
day?
all the time.
What time of day?
It's around 3:30, 4 o'clock. It's rush hour. It's always rush hour, you know. In any event,
So, and another point that I would like to make is, and I think I may have told you this maybe, and forgive me if I have, not only did we build more units from the late 1950s to the late 1960s, we had more people living in the village of Mineola in 1970 than we do in 2025. There were more, the population of the village of Mineola was 21,800 in 1970. Today, it is not, it's almost there, but it's not quite there. So we had more people, so this notion of, you know, that we're becoming crowded or that we're turning into Queens, I respect everybody's opinion. I understand that. We're charged with the job of entertaining the applications that come before us. Because let's take those projects that I say that are in the pipeline. If we say no to all of them, right? So that day op center that we were just talking about on Willis Avenue, it's vacant, there's a fence around it, and if we leave it alone, it could stay like that for years. I would have people down here saying, what's going on? I already have people saying, what's going on in Western Beef? What's going on in Western Beef? Well, you know, if people can invest, investors invest to develop, right? They're in business to develop. And if we take all of those spots, the one that you just said on 2nd Street, that used to be 85 Willis, which was kind of an ugly looking building facing Willis Avenue. Those of us who've been here long enough, that used to be Cozy Shack. It was a factory with you know, loading docks and trucks coming in and out all the time. The other one was Lily Popcorn, which is also a factory use. We used to have Milton Abels, which was a meat purveyor on the corner of Roslyn Road and 2nd Street. We have, you know, the zoning down there could be light industrial, as it is on East 2nd Street. So I think that these uses are better than a medical use, than an office use, or an industrial manufacturing use. And to your point, and we have enough history last week or 2 weeks ago when we had the gentleman from this project present the traffic report, the fact of the matter is that more and more people of a certain age rely less and less on cars. They do ride sharing, Ubers, things of that nature. You just saw the gentleman that was here before about his restaurant. You know how he's going to make it? On takeout. He's going to make it on takeout because people are not going to drive to restaurants. They want to sit at home, watch Netflix, order a grilled chicken, and sit there. And so they're not going to drive to this place. A lot of these places are now not the way that business is not done the way that we grew up. When I grew up right here on Jericho Turnpike, we had hardware stores, clothing stores, music stores, a Five and Dime, general store, supermarket on the corner here. There was an A&P. None of that. Now I have nail salons, hair salons, restaurants, and empty storefronts. And what people are saying, okay, stop the development, but fill the storefronts. Stop the development, but we want our restaurants to succeed. Why did this restaurant go out of business? Why did this place go out of business? Well, did you go there? Oh no, I never tried it. Well, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to, in our downtown, not where I live, right? Not where the 5,500 single-family homes live. By our train station, by our downtown, is create a walkable downtown where people will go, eat out, get their dry cleaning done, get their hair cut, get their nails done here. That's the goal. You can disagree with the path that we're taking. I understand that. But at the same time, we can't really have it both ways where we have empty businesses that no longer are viable because the landscape has changed. And if we sit on them and do nothing, then we get criticized for that. If we do something like this, which is by most, I would think most opinion, it's beautiful. It's gonna add to the vibrancy. We had a bank there before where people came in all day long, cars in and out, cars in and out. Now you're going to have 28 apartments with, let's say, 56 people living there, 60 people that presumably are gonna go to work. And they're gonna come and go once or twice, right? It's not all day, every day. I think that that minimizes traffic impact. And it brings more people. Those people are gonna get a coffee at 7-Eleven across the street, or they're gonna get a chicken at the Peruvian place across the street, or they're gonna join the Knights of Columbus, or they're gonna go to our churches or our temples, and they're gonna become part of this community. And as I said earlier, you know, this argument of, you know, turning into Queens, there's a house in this village that is 104 years old that needs a ton of work, and it's on the market for $1.7 million.
You know,
I think Mineola is a desirable place to live, to go to school, to work, to dine, and that's what we're trying to do.
You know, I respect your point of view, I respect your history here, your knowledge of the town. I'm amazed at everything that you know, and compliment you on it. My point of view is really maybe in the zoning, you know, or in creating more greenery in the village and less structure, less concrete on the ground. Because once you cover it up,
Point taken.
that's it. you
Point
know,
taken.
That's it. And I don't see any of that. I see with the park, where the library is, and 2 weeks ago, it was flooded in the street there, and you talked about the drainage there. Well, what the school did was fill the whole playing field with AstroTurf or something, some
Mhm.
plastic. So if you have a problem with drainage, maybe it's that, because it's that in the back, and it's also in the front on their field. And just eliminating basic, you know, nature, you know, people still need that.
I agree.
So I would encourage you to keep that in mind when you do your applications here,
Thank you.
you know.
Thank you,
That's-
Mr.
That's my point of view. I know I'm not gonna change your opinion or
I-
influence you.
Well, I disagree
but
because, if you were here last time, and if you were here for the next applicant, I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but this applicant went from 30 to 28, right? The next applicant went from 204 to 172. So, went down a floor, okay? This one became compliant on parking. So there are changes that, we expressed, that the residents came here, they heard us, and they made some changes. And you may think, oh, what's the big deal? It's 2 units. Well, 2 units for them out of 30, you know, that's you know, almost 10%. And for them, they would rather have those 1,600 square feet bringing in money, but they also understand that they have to be part of the community. And in regards to the next applicant, you're talking about 30-something units. But, I mean, I don't feel bad for them, that's not the point. But the point is that nothing is, you know, it's not a fait accompli.
And this is not a new formula for local
Yeah.
communities. You know, Farmingdale has done wonderful things, Garden City's done nice things. And it's to bring people to town, to the downtown, and make it an attractive place to be, bring restaurants in. And without that kind of attraction, there's nothing there for us. It's worse to the village to just let it lay. and
Well,
nothing.
I'm not encouraging you to do that, but I'm encouraging you to think of a green space or add more green to a building that wants to be constructed here,
Mhm.
you know, and less concrete, more trees, more green, you know, that's.
Agreed.
what
I agree. If I may,
So,
you know,
that's my point.
we actually invest in our parks a lot. Wilson Park right now is going through $1.5 million renovation. So we do strongly believe in our parks and to bring our community to our parks. And the next application, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but he is abutted to our fields. And part of his development is him improving what's there in our fields. So when there are places like the Day Op Center that's owned by a private developer, he's not gonna go and put a green space there. If it was owned by the village, it could be a green space. It doesn't make money for them. But what we could do is work with them like we are with that applicant to add trees, improve our fields, give us some money for incentive bonuses to do other things in our other areas of our neighborhoods where we are adding trees and improving our parks. So I hear you, I agree with you. I love green spaces. My kids grew up in this neighborhood. I brought them to the parks all the time. We work with our developers as much as we can to achieve that. But I wish I could say we're gonna make that a park, but we can't. But I hear you, I understand.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Coe. Anybody in the seventh row? Okay, Mr. Mann? Back up. Go. Come back up. I think we're, anybody else on the board? Just wait, I had a question. So now, I know that the New York Forward part of it was about burying the utility lines, but that's not gonna be possible because of the distance. Tell us a little bit about that.
Correct, so there was discussion about that, but ultimately the application that we made to New York Forward was solely about maintaining the
facade.
bank's facade, correct?
Because of the setbacks from the
Correct.
building not being, you need a certain amount of clearance or something like that.
Correct, and that's why the second floor of the building steps back to maintain the proper clearance from the power lines.
Those power lines are gonna remain?
What was that?
Those power lines are gonna remain?
Correct,
Yes.
correct.
Because you can't move the facade that we're trying to preserve in order to bury them, is that what it is? Is not enough clearance?
So this portion of the building here
Yep.
is lower than the wires, so that's in the safe zone. But this portion of the building here, if we didn't step it back, they would have been too close to the wires.
Okay. Any other questions? Mr. Gibbons?
Yes, Mayor, as part of the CEQA portion of our hearing, I would offer the following resolution. Whereas the proposed action is an unlisted action under CEQA, and whereas the Board of Trustees has reviewed the provisions of CEQA as they relate to the proposed action, including the review of the information contained in the CEQA documentation consisting of parts 1, 2, and 3 of the environmental assessment form and other information in the record with respect to the proposed action. And whereas the potential impacts and the magnitude and importance of potential impacts and benefits have been considered by the Board of Trustees, and a recommendation for adoption of a negative declaration has been made as the proposed action will not have a significant adverse environmental impact. Now therefore, be it resolved that the proposed action will not have a significant adverse impact on the environment, and be it further resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby adopts the attached CEQA negative declaration pursuant to CEQA.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Casado. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. IDA, have you gone to the IDA yet?
No, customarily, and if I'm mistaken, let me know, but from my experience, we come here first before we go to the IDA, so next stop would be the IDA.
Okay, and you have any idea when that would be?
Within the next month or so?
Okay. And then obviously, we'd have to work on amenities package,
Mhm.
host community benefits agreement, and all that stuff.
Correct.
Correct,
So,
okay.
Mayor, excuse me, so what's the timeline here now? If this is approved, what's the timeline?
So we have just schematic drawings at the moment, so we would have to prepare construction drawings, which I would say would take between 4 to 6 months. So the idea would be in the ground within that time frame, 4 to 6 months, and then a year plus for the construction.
Thank you.
And there's nothing we can do about those power lines? They can't be put on the ground? You got a great building going up,
I've,
and these, you know,
Do you have any idea what the cost of burying those power lines would be?
I spoke to PSEG, and they said it would be $1 million at the cheapest.
but that building's gonna be there a long time.
And we would give you partial credit for the cost that you're offering in the amenities.
We,
Yeah, as we've done with other developers, you would get credit for that.
I've done this before, and I did speak to one of my contacts at PSEG, and unfortunately, they said these particular wires, it's just not a great situation, the way it meets to Jericho and Mineola. It's just a massive, massive scope.
Would you be able to get us something to that effect? Could we get something from PSE&G? Because I do see what you're talking about, because that's what, they have those steel poles, and
Mhm.
there's the lights, the traffic lights, yes, I get that. I think if we had something that made it, it's not Second Street, it's Mineola Boulevard and Jericho. If you could provide us with some kind of opinion
Sure.
from PSE&G that said that it would be prohibitive to be able to do that, even on that sidewalk, it's a narrow sidewalk, maybe you'd have to go into the street. Just something that, let's explore
Mm-hmm.
the options, and if the option exists, and we would be willing to work with you on our end, on the amenities side, and perhaps with the state to try to get you more funding, if that were possible. If PSE&G says, yeah, you know, Adam's right, this is not gonna work for these reasons, then I think that would make us feel a little bit more comfortable that we tried, because to Trustee Clark's point, it's such a beautiful building.
Mm-hmm.
We want to showcase it,
Mm-hmm.
right? We want to highlight it, and as we've seen with the other buildings in other parts of the village, when you do bury the power lines, it really brings out the aesthetic. And here, on the corner of Jericho and Mineola Boulevard, historic facade, it would certainly look good. So let's entertain
Sure.
that. Let's at least do some more homework. We
I'll
will as
reconvene
well.
with PSEG.
Yeah, and let's see where that goes. Mr. Gibbons, are we allowed to vote this without the host community benefits and without the amenities letter?
Yes, we do have the amenities letter,
Okay.
and I know Mr. Mann has offered a full package consistent with the prior projects. And I've worked with Mr. Mann before, and I'm sure he'll get me the host agreement. He's already reviewed it and accepted it at other projects. We do always get the host agreement before a building permit.
Correct. Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second,
Second by trustee Salaski. Mr. Rivera, please poll the board.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sartori.
Yes.
Trustee Quesada.
Yes.
Trustee Salaski.
yes.
Mayor Pereira.
Yes. All right, get to work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Congratulations.
Those wires never occurred to me.
Ready?
And you know what wires are driving me
Right.
crazy?
Yep, let's just let Mr. Mann walk out. Are you good? You wanna break?
You know,
All right, so,
2
we're
minutes?
gonna take a 5-minute break to give our stenographer, you know, so she doesn't develop a carpal tunnel while we're sitting here. Okay, we'll take a 5-minute break, we'll be right out.